My name is Tim. I found advanced wellness and pain through my fire department. Some of the guys that are involved in like some of the wellness committees and for like the union guys, I heard somebody mention it before that they were looking into that program. I happened to walk past someone's office that was talking on speakerphone with somebody, and this guy sounded like he had a new lease on life. To me, it sounded like a near-death experience. How happy he was describing all the things that didn't bother him anymore that used to, and how he was so bad off and he could barely function. He was going on and on, but he's like, everybody needs to do this. I want to make amends. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's just amazing. I feel amazing. Nothing bothers me anymore. And I was going, who is that? And when I realized who it was, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, okay, now I want to do it. Because I looked into it before, many years ago, just ketamine therapy, and it didn't seem available in Arizona many years ago. And so when I heard that, that's all I needed. You know, I went and I got the process started. When I came in, everybody was really friendly. It seemed like a really calm environment, which is somebody that has anxiety or other things, that's good. It just seemed very welcoming. They explained everything to me. I got stuff ahead of time too that was explained to me. I got a workbook that I read through that helped me to kind of have a little bit of idea what was going on. I talked to Dr. Wong. He called me a couple times and we talked on the phone extensively. He gave me a lot of his time. And so it made me feel at ease too. It didn't seem like a busy place. There was like people running around with papers and shuffling stuff. It was really nice and calm, and that was very helpful. I've tried like Klonopin for anxiety. I've tried an antidepressant med or two, and I don't like the way they made me feel. Too many side effects. I didn't feel like there, you know, and especially Klonopin, it would help a little bit, but it was more like a Band-Aid. And you know, if you have a wound and you keep putting a Band-Aid on it, every time you rip the Band-Aid off, the wound's fresh again, and you know, it never heals. I don't like being on medication long term, so I just think that it was more of a permanent fix instead of constantly putting Band-Aids on the problem. I'm a firefighter paramedic of 25 years. I have yet to see anybody who's on antidepressant meds who still isn't depressed. As a first responder, we don't like asking for help, so I didn't even consider doing that anymore either. So I just kind of put it in the back of my mind, at least, you know, that I'm never going to do that. I'm going to take those again because they just don't seem to fully give you what you need. You need a solution. You know, when I have a problem, I don't want pain meds. I want to fix the problem that's causing inflammation or the pain. I don't want just a Band-Aid on it constantly. I want to get to the root of it, and that's what this did for me. The first dose was actually pretty amazing for me. I felt almost transformed after my first experience. There was a lot of comfort in there. I say in there because I feel like I was between the physical world and the spiritual world. I was somewhere in between. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like I totally left my body. And I could feel the pull I could just really feel myself being pulled away. My experience was pretty amazing. I just kind of got shown different scenarios and different things about what was bothering me. And even though they didn't look like what I thought it was going to look like, I still knew what it was. And I felt like, I always say that myself, people would call it maybe your conscious or your higher self was in there with me. I believe it was myself guiding myself through explaining things. Some of the trauma I had been through in my life when I was facing it, it just told me, don't be afraid. And by the way, we're done with this. You don't have to worry about that. And whatever my higher self told me, it was gospel. And I said, okay. And then we moved on to the next thing. And I literally moved on to the next scenario. There was people that had passed before me that I didn't see them, but I knew they were there. I felt them. And I knew exactly who they were, their identities. I knew where they were. You know, one of my old friends came through. He was right here. Believe it or not, my pets that I lost, I know which one was here and which one was right here. Some of my relatives, they were over here. I just knew, I get the feeling. They were coming in and out of this veil. Like it's kind of like I don't know, you want to call it a membrane, but there was something on the other side of this wall that they were coming through. I didn't see them, but I knew they were coming through. And every time they'd come through, I know where they were coming from was pretty wonderful. So I thought that was really, really amazing. I cried tears of joy and tears of just being over the bad parts of my life that were plaguing me. I didn't realize how bad my anxiety was either until I got rid of it. I had some OCD habits that disappeared, insecurities, a lot of self-doubt. It was all gone. I used to doubt myself, and now I 100% trust myself. Something that some people have said, well, you know, some of the stuff I said, they said, well, you're probably hallucinating because you're on a medication. And well, I found out later that I had some bad stuff that happened with my daughter, but when I talked to her about my experience, I said, I saw these certain colors when I thought of you. I saw bluish, I saw purplish, I saw this like fabric that was woven. I could see the weaves in it, and it was like wavy, like tapestry. When I told her that, she lives in Seattle, and I didn't talk to her for probably close to a week before I even came in here. And then she said, that's really weird that you said that, Dad, because just a couple days ago I saw a psychic. And I never used to believe really in that stuff either. And she said, the psychic told me that my colors were bluish, purplish, woven textured fabric, looked like tapestry. I mean, it was word for word what I said. So I was like, whoa. I was definitely not hallucinating. I wasn't afraid to die anymore. I know that people that passed they're there, they're good, and I'll see them again. And it gave me so much comfort, and it was so beautiful. I'll never forget that. It really did change me. I'm a firefighter of 25 years. Paramedic. I've seen some, in my career, some horrific things, awful things. I've had to tell people bad news. So many things that hit home, and but we put it away, and I would just go to lunch, function, whatever, because we put it away. Sometimes we talk about it, but we develop like a kind of a twisted sense of humor to kind of get us through it, So after a while, I think that starts to accumulate on us. Some of us are one event away from going over the edge of it all coming crashing down, and that's what happened to me. I felt like I was pretty fine. I didn't really realize how much the stuff built up. I walked around with a baseline anxiety of somewhere around an 8 out of 10 scale. When I came out of here that day, it was like a 0 or a 1, and it's pretty much been there since the whole time, since I finished all my treatments too. And since the first day I started. I didn't want to ask for help. Firefighters, we don't like to do that. We don't feel, I don't know what it does to us if we feel less than adequate. I'm not really sure what it does, but because we're the ones that people call when they need help. And so I guess we kind of feel like we don't need to ask for it, If someone is feeling, they've been living with this anxiety or this fear or this uncomfortability in themselves, to not be afraid to take that step. Have an open mind, have an open heart, and come into it prepared for that way. That's a good way to prepare for it. Just be open and just surrender to the process and just trust it, because that's what I did. A lot of us aren't very trusting of things, especially if you're in a state of mind of anxiety and you're having PTSD. It's kind of hard to get in that, but if you can do that, I did it. I didn't think it was going to work for me. I was afraid. I didn't know if it was going to work for me at all. I was going to try it because I know it could, but it exceeded my expectations by a long shot. And I'm so glad I did it. Even after the first time, I was a different person from then on. I knew I was going to be different. Do it. Don't waste another day. Don't waste another second. Nobody deserves to be feeling the way they're feeling. If they're feeling down or depressed or anxious or suicidal, there's better days ahead. And for me, the days are going to be even better than better. I enjoy the moment. I'm comfortable in my own skin for once in my life. You don't have to live with suffering anymore. There's definitely, this works. You're not on long-term medication. I was afraid of medications too. I'm not anymore, especially this. It was, the ketamine is, to me, it's a miracle medication. I don't even want to call it a drug. It's medicine. And it definitely helped me.